Welcome to Rinkside Rundown, the podcast that puts you right in the heart of women's hockey. I'm your host, Chris Sinclair, and each week I'm on a mission to showcase the incredible women who are lighting up the ice across the globe. Get ready as I chat with rising stars, seasoned pros, and all the game changers making waves in the world of women's hockey that you won't find anywhere else. So, let's dive into the exciting world of women's hockey and make sure to click that subscribe button so you never miss an exciting episode. Hello and welcome back to Rinkside Rundown. I'm your host, Chris Sinclair, and today I'm excited to be joined by Brooke Mulvihill, an Ottawa, Ontario native and forward who is going to be heading off to St. Lawrence University in the NCAA. Brooke, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, absolutely. It's a long time coming, and I'm very excited to learn a little bit more about you, hear about your story, as well as what you're going to be doing in this gap year that you're, I would say enjoying. Hopefully you're enjoying.
Yes.
But yeah, learn a little bit more about you. And I think, when we talk about these stories, when we get a chance to connect with incredible athletes like yourself, it's always great to learn, where did it all start? What was the spark that made you fall in love with hockey?
Yeah. For me, I kind of started playing hockey because all my friends were playing hockey, just like kind of IP girls hockey. My dad also played university and professional hockey when he was younger. But yeah, I really fell in love with hockey kind of just like when I stepped on the ice. When I started, I didn't want to start, but then my friends were all going on and I was like, I can't miss out on this. And then I kind of just went on the ice and it was really, really fun. I just love how fast and competitive hockey is. And it kind of brings out like a good side of me kind of thing.
Yeah, and I think too, speaking a little bit more about the sort of in a sense, in this case, the team aspect. I think that's a really unique aspect of hockey where, yes, you have the goal scorers, yes, you have, the great goaltending, all those sorts of things, but it really is a team sport, right? You can only be as good as your team is. Is that also something that maybe, you kind of touched on it with your friends and trying to, enjoy it as they were enjoying it? But what does the team aspect of hockey mean to you?
Well, I honestly don't think I'd enjoy hockey as much if it was like an individual thing. Like, I just love going to the rink every day to like see my friends and like just talk to them, and going on the ice with them and like scoring goals with them kind of like builds a connection between like me and them, which is really great.
Yeah, absolutely. And those connections, it's kind of cliche to say, but those connections, like hockey, while there are a ton of players who across the world who play hockey, hockey is still such a small, tight-knit group
Mhm.
where, you really do have those true connections, and they start early on, as it sounds like it did for you. Is that fair?
Yeah, I actually started like a little bit late, like uh like halfway into my first IP season. Uh because I didn't really like want to start at first, but I feel like once I got into it, I just wanted to keep going back because it was so fun.
Um, and I think that's a great segue into the family aspect of things, right? So you had mentioned that your dad played previously as well. What did it mean to you to have, someone in your family who knows the sport, who knows hockey, knows what goes into playing? It isn't easy playing hockey, right? What did it mean to you to have someone like your dad there to support you?
Yeah, so my dad has coached me since I was younger, and he just like he has so much knowledge when it comes to hockey, so it's really good to learn from him. And obviously, family is really important to me. And playing close to home for college was also really important to me. And SLU's like only about like an hour away from Ottawa, which was like kind of a plus when I decided to go there for school.
Could you maybe divulge some of the secrets that your dad shared with you? Some of the like, what were some of the big some of the big pieces of it pieces of advice rather that your father shared with you, or especially early on in your career, that really helped keep you motivated and inspired?
Uh, Kind of just, it's not like where you at now, it's where you're gonna be at later. So if you just focus on like working hard every day and like pushing yourself every day, then you will like get where you want to go in the future.
I think that's actually really good advice for anyone. So
Mhm.
that's actually a really, that carries a lot of weight. That's
Yeah,
fantastic advice.
like obviously he's helped me with like skills and stuff like that, but I feel like kind of just like the mental side has he's really helped me with that kind of thing and just
And you
focusing on myself and like kind of getting to where I want to go.
and this may sound like a silly question. I have tons more coming where this one is, but um how do you think that helped you? Do you think it helped, like, just to, like, especially focusing on the mental side of things, and also, like you've said, not wanting to actually play hockey when you first started? Do you think
Mhm.
like that kind of advice really resonated with you and has continued to motivate you as you've continued your career now, soon into the collegiate world?
Yeah, for sure. I just think that just focusing on like the present moment, kind of like when I'm on the ice, has also helped like with my confidence, just knowing like the work that I put in to get to the games. And then when I'm in the games, I can just focus on like enjoying it and having fun because I've already like done the work to get there.
Yeah, and I think, as we kind of wrap up the conversation around family, I think it's really important to highlight just how difficult it is to be a hockey family, right?
Mhm.
There are a lot of barriers to entry, right? When we're talking about the biggest one, it's cost, right? Like, it isn't inexpensive, right? It's a very,
Mhm.
very expensive sport. It's also, there's a huge time commitment to it, right?
Yeah.
Having your parents drive you to and from the rink, practices, games, all those sorts of things. When you look back, on your young career, what did it mean to have that family support, right from day one? What did it mean to you? What does it mean to you to be looking up in the stands and like, hey, my parents are here. They're cheering me on. They didn't have to be here, but they're here. What does family more broadly mean to you when it comes to hockey?
It's really great, like the support that I have. Honestly, support's a word that I would use to describe it, especially like in terms of hockey. My grandpa, he comes to every single home game. He's always just in the stands cheering, and we stream our games on YouTube, like our away games, and he's always like watching and then texting me after saying like good job, like nice goal, stuff like that. And it's been really good. I also play with my sister, and that's been like pretty good watching her develop from like her first year last year to kind of dominating this year so far.
Yeah, and again, I've used the word inspiring before, but it must be really inspiring when you get to see your sister growing as she has, when you know your grandpa is watching you, whether it's at home or at the rink. It must
Mhm.
feel really inspiring.
Yeah, it is. It's really nice.
That's fantastic. And I think, the reason that I like asking that question is that um the cliched saying, it takes a village, right? But it really
Mhm.
does when it comes to being a hockey player. So it's always great to hear those, the great stories. I have a giant smile on my face because it's just like, it's a great story when you hear about grandparents watching every game, never, absolutely, clearing out their schedule so they make sure they're there for every game, and along with your parents as well. When or in reflecting on your young career, what were some of the biggest challenges that you think you faced, and how did you overcome them, and how do you think it's helped you to become a better person and a better player?
Uh, well, I've always like been one of the smaller players on the ice. So I've kind of always had to put in like more work to like in the gym and like just to be as strong as all the other players. And for me, I've also like struggled with anxiety in the past, and I've been able to like use hockey as my kind of getaway to everything else going on in my life. And just like I feel like my love for hockey has also like inspired me to like train more to get better and better at like hockey and doing what I love kind of thing.
That was a I appreciate that answer. That's fantastic. And it's one of the many great things about sports is that, especially when you're involved in it, it can be that distraction to just help you move forward, right?
Hmm.
So I definitely appreciate that. When you know, especially as someone who was maybe a little bit more reluctant to get into hockey when you first started,
Hmm.
who were some of the role models or some of those some of the people that you looked up to, even now, that have continued to, you have that spark for sure. You're definitely invested, you definitely love hockey, but who are some of those people who really inspire you, some of those role models that you've looked up to throughout your career?
Yeah, for me, obviously, I think Poulin is awesome. She's
Hmm.
a great player, probably like one of the best ever. But kind of recently, I've been really liking to watch Sarah Fillier and Emma Malte
Hmm.
because they're both like kind of smaller players that have made it to kind of the top level. And I just like, I really like watching, especially like Fillier on the power play, just like her poise. And then Malte, like her buzz on the PK is like awesome. And I just love watching them both.
Yeah, and so Um, do you watch those, whether it's you're watching the game live or you're watching replays? Do you like, are you watching those and like saying, okay, like maybe I could try this, maybe I could try that. Oh, I didn't think about that. Like, how I guess, do you, um, uh, look at them and say, I want to play more like them? Or is it kind of just you're watching them and just enjoying the sport? Maybe a bit of both.
I think I'm kind of just enjoying it, but I obviously like to watch in the PWHL, just like looking at each player and like at what they're doing really well and like seeing if I can add that to how I play. Not like playing exactly like them, but just
Mm.
adding like some skills that they have to how I play.
Oh, okay. I love that. I love that. Um, as I had mentioned off the top, you're born and raised in the nation's capital.
Yes.
So fellow Ottawayan. Um, uh, what was it like to have the opportunity to be born here, raised here, and be able to play for the Ottawa Lady Senators? What was that like for you?
It's been great. Like I know lots of girls have to like move around to play at like the level they want to play at. But for me, just like having a top level team in Ottawa is great. And just like getting to like live at home and be with my family still while playing like pretty good like level hockey. It's just been really great for me.
Yeah, and like you said, it must be nice where you don't have to stress about, oh, I'm going to be away from family. I'm going to be, I'm going to have to, live with a billet family, or
Mhm.
whatever the case may be. You actually have the opportunity to just focus on playing the game.
Yeah.
And so, could you talk a little bit more about that side of things, where you can just focus on the game? You don't have to like, you don't have that stuff, those extra noises on the outside. What is it again? Just maybe talk a little bit more specifically about what it was like to just be able to play at home and be able to know that your family can see you, your family can be there, you're like, you can just focus on what you love. What did that mean to you?
It's meant a lot. Like I honestly couldn't really imagine like going from like all of high school like away from my family. I just like I really like it here in Ottawa, and I feel like just having the opportunity to play at a high level and still be like at home with my family who like kind of supports me through everything. It's been really good.
Yeah, and when we talk about the Senators, for anyone who may not be familiar with that program, what do you think, that, or how do you think rather, that your time with the Senators really helped to shape you both on and off the ice?
Yeah. So the Ottawa Lady Sens, like it's an awesome program. I'm really lucky to be a part of it. I started playing junior when I was in grade 10, which is kind of young, but the older players on the team kind of like helped me adapt to the league and answered like any questions I had, kind of thing. The quality of hockey like in the entire league is great, and Ottawa has kind of like shown ourselves as one of the top teams these past few years, which has been awesome. And I kind of like our team identity is just kind of hard work. And like in practice, our practices are really hard, and I feel like that helps us and pushes us so that games become easier. Like we push each other in practice so that games are easier, and we're kind of just like a whole like tight knit group, and like just on and off the ice, which is great. And it's always like nice to have a team that you actually like really love to be a part of.
Yeah, and maybe to highlight as well, like how has the program, how has been being a part of a program like the Lady Sens, how has that helped you as a person as well?
I think it definitely has, especially like last year and this year. I kind of feel like I'm getting better at like the leadership side of things, because my first 2 years I was one of the younger players on the team, and now like as an older player, I'm able to kind of talk to the younger players. Like I was kind of surprised when like one of them came up to me at practice and was like your shot's really good. I want to like shoot like you. How do I do that? I'm like, wow, someone like wants to shoot like me. It's kind of crazy just to like be like, oh, someone looks up to me. Like that's awesome. I don't know. It's like kind of a different perspective than in the past, but it's been like really kind of helpful for me to like learn, because in the future I'm going to obviously have to like use skills that I learned from hockey in terms of like leadership and communicating with each other.
Yeah, and I mean, not to get off the rails too much here, but also as a fellow Ottawa, Ontario native, putting on that Sens jersey must also be like that jersey looks real nice. So
Yeah, it's
how's that?
really, really cool.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, it's cool to like be kind of like sponsored by an NHL team. Like we went to one of their games, and like one of their the Sens like video people, they like took a video of our team saying like go Sens go, and like put it on the Senators Instagram, which was really cool to just like see us on that, and just like seeing the support that we have even from like the men's side of hockey.
I guess like just in those kinds of moments, and this is actually another great segue into, the community aspect of hockey. I think that's something that, much like the family side, I think it's one of those things. They're the big charity events and stuff like that that are that are so televised and all those sorts of things. But a lot of the time, fans don't necessarily realize how much time and work and effort there is in the team making sure that they develop really great connections in the community. Could you talk about what it's meant to you to be a part of the community, to be able to give back to the community? You've kind of mentioned in terms of like people coming up to you and be like, I love your shot. Could you teach me how to do it, how to shoot better?
Yeah.
But could you expand on that and just talk about the community and what it's meant to give back, especially as being from the area? It must mean a little bit more to you.
Yeah, so with my Ottawa Lady Sens team, we actually have an ambassador program where a few girls like on our team, like we divide into groups and go out with like one of the like U11, U13 teams. And we like go on the ice with them at practice and just like help coach them. And then like in turn, they come and watch our games after, which is really like cool. And then they like, kind of ask for our autographs and talk to us after the games, which is really nice. Like seeing that we kind of like have people that we're inspiring and like people who want to be like us in the future.
Yeah, it must. um, as someone who is not handing out his autograph, I kind of to me, in those moments where you have fans coming up to you and saying, "Hey, listen, I want your autograph," or "I want to learn more about you," all those sorts of things. When you look back when you were a kid, especially as someone who, I've said it a couple of times now as well, but hockey didn't necessarily grab you as quickly as it does for some other players, but you've obviously carved out a really great career thus far.
Mhm.
Do you look back on like when fans are coming up to you, like when you look back on it, it's like how did I get here? What, like, is it surreal to you in those moments?
Yeah, like even a few years ago, my only goal was really to like get to junior hockey because I was kind of just focusing on small goals and getting there, but I like wasn't sure if I'd make it to junior. But once I did, I was just like, okay, I need to keep working, getting to the next level. It's just like kind of the everyday work you put in to focus on getting to the next level. And that's what kind of like when you look back, you're like, wow, like I put in all that work and I'm actually here. Like it's kind of crazy.
And signing autographs.
Yeah, it's really cool to see like the little girls come up to you and be like, "You're my favorite player. Can I have your autograph?" Like, I don't know. It's really cool. I
Yeah, I
can't
mean,
really explain it.
yeah, and you're inspiring that next generation, right? And
Yeah.
so, not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but also looking forward, what do you think, knowing that you're clearly inspiring a ton of young girls to get into the world of hockey, to get into and enjoy and embrace this, and know that it's something that you can do, especially now with the PWHL, you can do full time, you can do it and get paid to do it.
Mhm.
What does that mean to you as well when you're looking forward and saying, like, I'm inspiring this next generation?
Yeah, so kind of for the future, the PWHL is definitely a goal of mine. I just think it's awesome that like people like women can actually make a living from playing hockey,
Mhm.
like in an actual league. And I kind of feel like now that the league actually has like full on team names, that it's here to stay for a while at least, I hope. But like my team, we went to the first PWHL Ottawa game, and we were like the team of the night kind of thing, like the youth team of the night. And we got to like throw t-shirts into the stands and like check people in like with their tickets at the door at the like start of the game. And it was just like really cool to see all the fans and the whole atmosphere of the rink. It was, we broke like the attendance record. It's been broken a few times since then, but the first night we broke the attendance record, and it was really cool to see like just the amount of people at the rink just supporting the two women's teams, Montreal and Ottawa.
Yeah, I was there, and I still have the chills from
Mhm.
thinking back to that night.
Yeah.
Um, we've talked about your early career. Now you're taking a little bit of time away from hockey before you start your NCAA career. You're in your gap year.
Mhm.
What went into? I mean, let's start off with what went into that decision to take the gap year.
Well, I'm still playing like for the Lady Sens this year.
Yeah, okay, but sorry, going into university, there's still time before you go into university, correct?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So what I guess then, what went into your decision to attend St. Lawrence, that obviously is a great program there. What kind of made you feel the connection to that program and that campus and all those sorts of things?
Yeah, so when I went on campus, it was really, really nice. The rink's really nice. Obviously, it's a really good hockey program, a really good school. And I also really enjoyed like meeting the coaches, and I kind of felt a connection with them. They have like a lot of experience, and I think I can learn from them a lot. Uh, Also, I don't know, it just kind of felt like home. Like, when you go onto the campus and you're just like, wow, like I
Mhm.
think I want to play here. I kind of like I know it's the right place for me. That's kind of what I felt like when I went there. I also met some of the players and they're really nice. And I'm just like, I don't know, I'm just really excited to go there. And I feel like knowing, like, I kind of know that I picked the right place, just how I feel about going there. I'm just like really excited. And I just kind of like want to go now. I'm just so excited.
um, so with that excitement, this is going to be the first time you're playing, away from home,
Yeah.
right? How does that make you feel in terms of the, the growth that you might go through, or that you will go through rather, playing so far away from home, or not so far away from home, but away from home? Um, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about taking that next step?
Um, I guess I'm a little nervous about like actually like being in a different country kind of and being away from home. But I purposely picked a school that's close to home because I that was important to me just to have my family nearby and they'll be able to like come to all the home games and stuff, which is going to be nice. But I feel like it'll take me like a few months to get used to it, but once I get used to being away from home, I think that it'll be a lot of fun.
Yes, it will be. And you're going to do amazing things. And I cannot wait to continue following the career. Um, I always like asking this question. Um, when it comes, as a Canadian, you did have the opportunity to look at U Sports, or what
Yes.
has become U Sports. Could you talk about what went into your decision to select NCAA, as opposed to, not over, but as opposed to attending U Sports?
Yeah. So, well, my dad played in the NCAA for Clarkson, which is like St. Lawrence's rival school. So when I was younger, I actually kind of grew up cheering for Clarkson. But I kind of think that I've never really thought about the U Sports route as much as the NCAA. And like all most of my role models like on Team Canada and stuff came from like NCAA schools that I kind of grew up watching. So I just never really thought about the U Sports path, and it's always just been my dream to go in the NCAA. And yeah,
Okay, so I have to ask the question, how does your dad feel about you going to St. Lawrence?
I think he thinks it's the right place for me.
Okay.
Like we both kind of agree that St. Lawrence is kind of the best fit for me in terms of like academics and hockey. So like I guess it'll just be a fun like rivalry game against Clarkson.
Yeah, I was gonna say, maybe has he put the rivalry aside just even a little bit in being able to accept that you're going to St. Lawrence?
Well, he's been wearing a St. Lawrence baseball hat.
Oh wow.
So I was kind of surprised when he started wearing it, but he's wearing it. So
Oh yeah, he's put the rivalry aside until game day. He's put that rivalry aside, I think.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so what are you most looking forward to once you start your collegiate career at St. Lawrence?
I think I'm most looking forward to like just playing with the new girls and kind of getting like a fresh start with the new team. Like I've been with the Lady Sens for this is going to be my fourth year. So kind of just getting a fresh start and just like I feel like it'll be good for me to kind of be on my own, just like doing my own thing at school, like in terms of academics, but also in terms of hockey. And I'm just excited for like that kind of competition of being at the next level. I don't know. I'm just like really excited for especially the hockey.
Yeah, this is one step closer to being able to, um, make this a career for you, right?
Mhm.
So that must be cool. Like you said, that must be really cool to be able to take that, to know that you're college away from playing professional hockey.
Mhm.
How does that, like, I know that it's when we talk about too early to ask this question, it's definitely too early to ask this question, but I'm still going to do it. How does it feel to know that you're one step closer to being able to play professional hockey and get paid for it? I can tell that you're trying to hold back the smile because it must feel really exciting.
Yeah, Excited for the future. I kind of just think of it as one step closer to getting towards my overall goal of playing professional. But I think that St. Lawrence is going to be a good stepping stone for that. They produced a few professional players, especially in this draft, Julia Gosling and May Batherson. They both got drafted this year, and Gosling already signed with Toronto, which is awesome. But I just think that St. Lawrence is a great place to like kind of get me prepared for the next level afterwards as well.
Couldn't agree more. Absolutely. Um, when you are reflecting on your career and as you're embarking on this incredible next step in your journey, what would be some advice that you would share with, a young girl who approaches you and says, I want to be like you. How can I be like you? What is some advice that you would share um, to young girls who are, aspiring to play at your level?
I would say it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Like no matter like where you currently are, there's always kind of room for improvement and getting better. And it's not really about like what you've done in the past. It's about what you're going to do like now and what you're going to do kind of in the future. But it's not really it is about your performance on the ice, but it's more about like how you prepare yourself for that. Like for me, the past few years, I've just been kind of focusing on my work like off the ice, like working hard in my like off season and season training. And I feel like that's helped me to like kind of gain confidence when I get onto the ice. And I don't need to worry about like, oh, like what if this happens? What if this happens? I'm just like, okay, now like it's my time to have fun. Like I've already put in the work to get here.
And we will be right back. This episode is sponsored by sports nutritionist Melissa Buffunos of MB Performance Nutrition. As a former competitive hockey player turned nutritionist, Melissa's mission is to help the next generation of hockey players optimize their diets and health so they can perform their best both on and off the ice. Ready to dominate on the ice? Melissa's new course, The Hockey Nutrition Blueprint, is available now. If you're serious about learning how nutrition can impact performance and building actionable nutrition strategies based on your unique needs as an elite hockey player, learn more and sign up at melissabuffunos.com/course. That's melissabuffunos.com/course, and make sure to use code Rinkside to save $50 off the regular price. Thank you to Melissa Buffunos for sponsoring this episode. And now back to the show. We've talked about it a little bit as well previously, but as we shift gears kind of more specifically to the PWHL, as you'd mentioned, the reception here in Ottawa has been incredible. Ever since day one, season tickets are sold out, the building's sold out. There's such a buzz. And now with the names, like it does, like you said, it finally feels real, right? I think the first season you were like, oh, I hope this continues. I'm really enthusiastic about it. But now it feels even more real. Being from Ottawa, being able to go to games, to be able to watch, even, people like Poulin, you can watch her live now. Mm-hmm. Right? Some of these big players that you've followed for years, but you were only able to watch really on TV. Mm-hmm. How does, being at those games, watching these games on TV, how does this make you feel about where you're at, where you're going to go, and, a little bit more about where you think women's hockey is going to go?
I guess it just like feels more real. Like before, I only like watched the Olympics like every 4 years on TV. And actually like watching a real professional game in person, it was just like kind of awesome to see it. And also like even Ottawa's team name, the Charge, it just like shows the excitement that all the fans have and like the atmosphere in the building. And that's kind of just what I felt in the first game. and it just like kind of made me want to play there even more like in the future.
Yeah, well, what it would be an incredible moment when you get drafted into the PWHL, and it would be the Ottawa team. That would just be, I know I'm projecting at this point, but
Yeah.
it would still be such a cool moment for you to be able to play, regardless of where it is, but to be able to play professional hockey in your hometown, whether it's
Yeah.
with the Ottawa Charge or another team. That must
Yeah.
be something that you're kind of thinking about as well.
Yeah, I'd be happy with anywhere, but
Yeah.
I guess it's just kind of like the thought of like in the future, it could be me just like it's awesome to think about. And it's really like something I want to strive for.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you should, and as you will, of course. You know, we talk about Ottawa more specifically as we're both based out of Ottawa, but just as a league and as a whole, there is tremendous buzz. Like anytime there is any news about the PWHL, everyone goes nuts. It's like it is clear, it's here, it's here to stay, and it's just such an incredible moment for women's hockey. When you think about this excitement, these sellout crowds, there's like 20,000 plus fans, crammed into these rinks in some places. What do you think this moment, the PWHL starting, the way that it's gone, what do you think this moment means for women's hockey, both now and in the future?
I really hope that the PWHL, just like all the views that it gets from probably younger girls as well, can kind of grow the game for the future. Like, I'm hoping that lots of like a lot more younger girls decide like, wow, it's like a possibility to play professional now. So I should like try hockey because I want to be like Poulin and like Philly and all those players. I just I
Well,
kind of think that it'll create like a lot more like opportunities for girls, and a lot more girls will want to play.
yeah, and I was also going to say, or like Brooke Mulvihill, right? Like play like I want to be like Brooke Mulvihill. Like that's something that's going to be a thing, right? And that must be, just such a thrilling thing. And I think you hit a point that I missed earlier, but it must also be nice to know that, when typically, unfortunately for women, it was, you would go through your junior career, collegiate career, and then your only real options at that point would be the national team, and playing overseas. Just wasn't any, there weren't really any other options
Mhm.
if you wanted to pursue hockey, right?
Yeah,
You would then end up having to often rely on whatever it was that you studied in your collegiate career.
yeah,
When you think about this league, when you think about the buzz and all of these things, how cool is it to know that you don't, not to say you shouldn't rely or you shouldn't pursue your collegiate diploma, but how cool is it to know that you don't, that like that isn't the only real option for you, or having to play overseas. You can play pretty close to home.
yeah. I think it just creates a lot more kind of excitement within like girls hockey, and kind of like more job opportunities even, because I never really expected like when I was younger that I'd be able to grow up and like make a living off of playing hockey. But now that that's a possibility, it's kind of just like an amazing feeling, and it kind of makes you want to like strive for even more because now it's an actual possibility.
Oh, yeah. And what a thrilling possibility that is. It's difficult not to say that without a giant smile on your face, because it's just like
Hmm.
it's here and you can make a career out of this. Like there's definitely work that still needs to be done, of
Hmm.
course, but this was a big step forward for women's hockey, and I know I'm excited. And I'm obviously not playing, so I can only imagine how much more you're excited and motivated and inspired to really um, follow this dream and inspire the next generation and keep this going, keep that pipeline going, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. Um, So, as has become a tradition on the show, we wrap things up with, and I have to think of a better name for it because it's right now it's a working title, 20 questions but not 20 questions. It doesn't really roll off the tongue as well as I would like it to. But the crack team here at Rinkside Rundown has put together a number of questions that are just really like, let's continue getting to know the one and only Brooke Mulvihill.
Mm.
And they're going to be, profound questions. I also like to throw in less profound questions and just fun questions, just to kind of nice way to wrap the show up. How do you feel about it? Are you ready to take the test?
Yes.
Good. Yes. I always like to say as well, I like being on this side of the test, not on your side. So I was never good at tests, but you're going to be great, and I cannot wait. So let's dive into it with I'm going to hit you with a bit of a hard-hitting question to start things off. What are you most proud of from this past season?
Um, I'd say that on the ice, I've really kind of taken my game to the next level. And I've kind of shown that on the ice. Like I've had more confidence in myself. And that's like not only really shown on the scoreboard, but it's also kind of just shown in like how I carry myself on and off the ice.
Okay, great. And how would you, for anyone who hasn't had the opportunity to see you play, how would you describe your style of play?
Um, I'd say I'm a skilled player with a high IQ and a pretty good shot. Uh, but I try to really focus on, as a center, I try to focus on defense first because you can't really have offense without defense. But I can also provide offense when it's needed. And I try to make the players around me better just by kind of moving the puck and encouraging them.
Nice. Good. I love it. I love it. Good teammate. You're a good teammate. That's fantastic. Um, when it comes to sports, there's never truly an off season. There's technically an off season, but there's a lot of training. There's a lot of, assessing what you could have done, maybe different heading into this upcoming season. You may be heading off to college. You may be, there are so many variables in an off season. But for you as Brooke Mulvihill, what does your off season look like, and how has that maybe evolved over time?
Yeah. So I've kind of focused more on hockey as I've gotten older. But when I was younger, I played like a bunch of other sports like lacrosse, soccer. I've done track. I used to play golf. I did all of that in the summer as well. But I think balance is important. Like for me in the off season, especially, I try to make more time for like hanging out with my friends and family, as well as kind of getting all my workouts in and stuff like that and like ice sessions, but just kind of taking the time away from hockey as well to like be with my friends and family because I don't really see them that much during the in season.
And I'll try to keep the follow-up questions to a minimum. So, but I will ask this one. Um, what has it meant for you then to be able to spend more time with family and friends and to kind of take that step away from the ice and all the routine that you have to go through, workouts, all those sorts of things? What has it meant to you to be able to just hang out and just like enjoy your summer a little bit with friends and family?
It's been really good, especially hanging out with my friends who like don't really play hockey, like just my friends from school. It's been really nice in the summer to just like go on drives with them and like talk to them, kind of talk about our future, like university plans and stuff like that. That's been really nice because I don't really get to do that much during the in season.
Mhm.
And with my family, like obviously having like my dad on the bench and my sister also on the team, there's a lot of hockey talk at home as well. But in the summer, it's kind of just like dies down and we can just talk about other things.
Oh, it must be nice. Sometimes you just kind of want to just enjoy it. You don't necessarily need to just be talking about hockey all the time.
Yeah.
Your life is hockey. You deserve at least a little bit of time
Mhm.
to not talk about hockey. Just hang out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always, I don't know why I love this question so much, but I love this question. What's your go-to pregame meal?
Well, I have like depends on the game, but like for morning home games, we usually have games at like 1 o'clock. So I like to just like wake up a little later and have just like Vector cereal before the game. But then like if it's a nighttime game, it doesn't really matter what I have, just like whatever's at home. And then if it's an away game, because we go to Toronto a lot for games, because our league is like all across Ontario. But me, my dad, and my sister, we always go to Montana's before the game.
Mm,
And I get this specific pasta and
okay.
cornbread before the game.
Okay.
And
Tell us what that pasta is?
oh, it's just pasta with butter
Oh,
and cornbread. That's all. It's good.
okay.
I don't know. It's not like a meal that everyone would get, but I like it.
No, that's great. That's fantastic. I've heard pasta is the biggest one that I've heard. I've heard some strange combinations from
Mhm.
that, but usually it's like pasta with red sauce or something like that. That's good, nice and simple. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. Some nice
Mhm.
cornbread on the side. There's that
Yeah.
sounds fantastic. Um, During the seasons, who owned the music and what was played most often in the dressing room?
I'd say Bella Saka on my team. She's going to Stonehill next year. She is kind of in charge of like the music and the speaker. She kind of plays a variety of songs, but our team does like to listen to Disney music sometimes and just sing along to that.
An interesting way to get hyped up, but that's fine. That's
It
fine.
works,
Yeah,
so
it works. Whatever works. That's totally fine. I love it. I love it.
mhm.
Was there a particular song, Disney song that really got the crowd
um
ready to go?
I'd say just any kind of Frozen song.
Mm,
Those are always really good.
yeah, those are bangers right there. That's fair. Um, so speaking of music, if you could listen to only one song for the rest of your life, what would it be? And I always say this, it doesn't have to be on all the time, but if you're going to play a song, it has to be this one.
So I listen to a specific song before every game. It's called I Lived by One Republic.
Okay.
And it kind of like just reminds me of like everything I've done to get to the point before the game and just to like kind of enjoy myself when I'm on the ice.
All right. I like that.
And I just listen to that before every game.
Good. I love it. That's fantastic. Nice little motivation there. I like it. Um, what is something that remains on your bucket list?
Um, I'd say going to watch gymnastics at the Olympics.
Okay, that's very
Or just,
specific.
I don't know, I just watched the women's gymnastics at the Olympics uh this summer and I found it so cool. And I've since then I've just been like, I really want to go watch that. And also just like going to Europe in general,
Hmm.
that just seems really cool because I haven't been outside North America yet.
Well, it's pretty beautiful out there. No, I made it sound like I've been there, but from the photos I've seen and the videos and stuff like that, it looks breathtaking. So
Yeah.
that would be fantastic.
Mhm.
Um, what's something that people may not know about Brooke Mulvihill?
Um, I'm left-handed.
Okay, interesting.
Yes.
Very small portion of society's left-handed. That's fantastic. Okay, that's great. That's great. Anything else?
Uh,
What's something else as well? Put you on the spot.
I have two dogs.
Nice. Yes, and one's joined the interview.
Yes,
So
he
yep,
has.
yes. What a supervisor he is. He's so encouraging.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, he looks great. Golden, is it a doodle?
He's a toy poodle, so
Oh, okay,
he's really small.
yeah. Um, And so, lastly, what I'll do is I want to kind of finish this up by saying, or by asking rather, what's something that continues to motivate and inspire you? And you can take this in either in like as a person or as a hockey player, or you can do both as well. What's something that motivates and inspires you to this day?
Can I say a person?
Absolutely, you can. Yes,
I
yes.
would say my mom. She
Oh,
is the best. Um, I don't know. I just feel like all the work, the hard work that she puts in every day just to like be there for me, be there for my sister, and just everything she has done and has overcome just like kind of inspires me and I want to be like her.
oh man, what a great shout out to mom. So yeah, a nice little shout out. I can't think of a better way to wrap up this great conversation than to once again give a shout out to your mom, but also to say um, thank you. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to hop on this, hang out, spend some time on the show. It's been incredible. A lot of laughs, which is fantastic. I can't wait to continue following your career at St. Lawrence and beyond, because there is going to be a beyond, and I cannot wait for that. And just know I will be continuing to cheer you on, and you will have a lot of other people who will hear this, see this, and be incredibly inspired by your story. So once again, thanks so much, Brooke. I really appreciated this.
Thank you.
Of
It was really
course.
fun.
Good. I'm so glad to hear that, and I can't wait to have you back on. And there you have it for Brooke Mulvihill. I'm Chris Sinclair, and this has been Rinkside Rundown. Cheers.